Coming from these Philly streets, walking to my own beat, telling noisemakers I won't compete, cause I know I'm gonna be a beast. I go hard for what I want, I go hard for what I need.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Winning Wednesday. Yes, everyone. If you are on here, let me know what city and state you are tuning in from. Tonight, we are on a special time, 8:30 tonight. So I hope y'all there and going. Again, we are here live in effect. So let me know if you're on. Okay, we see some people coming on, and I'm just going to go for it. And I want to say welcome to the face behind the brand, where I talk to entrepreneurs that use their passion for success and change the game. I'm your host, Denise Murray. But before I introduce my guest of today, I need y'all to do me a favor. If you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, I just want you to tell me what city and state you're in. Why? Because next year, I'm going to be doing something so special. I'm going to be doing something live. So I kind of want to know where everybody is so I can come to your town. So go ahead and throw that city and state in there for me and where you're at. Good evening. Now, today, my guest is Miss Christa Kendrick, a true powerhouse of passion, purpose, and service. Christa is a serial entrepreneur, but that's just the beginning of her remarkable journey. She's a recovering ministry intern with North Atlanta Recovery Ministry, a certified peer specialist in mental health, addiction, and whole health, and an advocate for those navigating the path to recovery. Alongside her work as a public speaker, she's a travel wealth advisor and owner of Given Enterprises LLC. Christa's heart for services shine through her role as a guest artist with the R2ISE Theater, and she's dedicated to empowering others through her work as a transformation coach and digital creator. But above all, Christa identifies as a humble child of God, driven by the mission to educate, advocate, and support families in their recovery journeys. Her message is powerful, recovery is real, and it is possible on every level. So tonight, I want y'all to join me and let's welcome Miss Christa Kendrick. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, I can. I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me, see me?
Yes, I can see you. Can you just a little bit?
Right.
Okay. There we go. Got you. Thank you for coming on tonight.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. So thankful to be here.
Awesome. And I appreciate you. Now I'm going to just go ahead and dive in. But before I get started, I always like our guests to just kind of bring us back. I make that little joke of bringing back in time. Just tell us a little bit about your.
I'm sorry, everything just froze up. Let's see.
Like your beginnings of who is Christa? Let us know.
Okay. It's freezing up a little bit. Can you hear me? Everything is frozen. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. So, my name is Christa Kendrick. I grew up in a small town of Milledgeville, graduated from Milledgeville from Baldwin High School. And then I moved to an even smaller town in Hancock County. So very, very humble beginnings, but very thankful for where I'm from. I'll never forget where I'm from. I always shout my city out because I got to stay humble. I got to stay grounded, and I got to know where I came from to know exactly who I am and live in that authenticity. Most of my dad's side is from South Carolina, so that's also home. That's home too. But I now reside in Atlanta, and I've been here for about 3 years. So entrepreneurial spirit ever since I was in high school selling candy and braiding hair, to save up money for like school trips and the clothes that I wanted. So I'm just very thankful like to be where I am today. The city was a big shock to bring the country down,
Right.
but I'm loving every bit of it.
Awesome, awesome. Now, to go into it, what inspired you to start your journey in recovery ministry and become a certified peer specialist?
So, like I said, small town, humble beginnings, not a lot to do back at home. Um, and mental health is really what brought me in because I started drinking, and at first, of course, it started out like just, drinking, hanging out with friends. I was a bartender. As soon as I graduated from school, I was bartending at a nightclub. I was working at Kroger's as a cashier, and I was full-time college student as well. So doing all this at the same time. And it started out just for fun. They would say at the bar, even though I was underage, take a shot to loosen up. And so that's how it started, taking a shot to loosen up. You're nicer, you'll get more tips that way. And it was just fun. But then once, having childhood trauma, things like that, that's one thing. But then actually, I started working at the prison. I worked at Baldwin State Prison. I started there when I was 20 years old. An all male institution, level 5 mental health inmates, all males. And it's not like on TV where they're like behind bars. It's me, one female in a dorm with 84 inmates walking around with no weapons, just a clipboard with a sheet of paper with their names on it and a pen. And I would see so much horrible, traumatizing things that I'll never be able to unsee. And so at the end of the night, you get with your buddies and you go out and you go out for drinks to just wash the day away.
Right.
And so it became a coping mechanism before I knew it. And then being depressed, feeling trapped in a small town, I felt like there was nothing to do. And at the age of 20, working this job that was a really good paying job for a 20-year-old, and with it being a state job and all, and just once you make that kind of money, then you get those kind of bills. And so it's like, well, if I can't take a pay cut at this point, so now I'm stuck in this job that I do not like, that's super dangerous. We don't even know if we're coming home. We hear stories of other prisons where people didn't make it home, um, watching them fight and cut each other up. It's the most disrespectful job. I say strippers get more respect because at least they get paid to do what they're doing. With us, they just look at you and do what they do. And there's nothing you can do but write them up, and what they're gonna take $4 off their commissary. So going home with all that and just feeling like, okay, nightcap, and then being depressed, it just turned into a coping mechanism. And so life I just seemed to be trapped, and I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how. And I got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to live. I lost my desire to live. And the depression was that bad. I was anxious, and of course, alcohol was playing a role in all of this, but I didn't understand that at the time that alcohol was making the mental health worse. But so in 2021, we lost our home, our family home, to a fire. My husband, because when I moved from Milledgeville, it was just one city over, to be with my husband. And when we lost that home to a fire, everybody made it out alive, thank God, but we lost pretty much everything. And I'm the type of person where what it really was my pride. And I learned that pride can be so dangerous, but I didn't want to ask anybody for help. I didn't tell my mom that my house had burned down. I didn't tell anybody. I moved in, and this was during the pandemic. So everybody's quarantining, and I have a family of 5, 3 sons and a husband and a wife. having to live in the home with someone else. And very thankful that they allowed us to stay there, because if not, then we would have just been homeless. And
Wow.
so I'm looking at my life like, God, what's going on? Like, I
Right.
did what my mom said to do. Like, I waited. I graduated high school. I waited until I was married to have kids. I never broke the law, never been arrested. I was a peace officer, for goodness sakes.
Mm.
And so, how do I wind up in this predicament where I'm going through this depression and I don't feel like living? I feel stuck where I'm at. I came down with this health condition, pseudotumor cerebri, which I later found out came from taking birth control pills. It was one of those commercials like, if you or any one of your loved ones
One of
use
the solid ones.
orthotricycline, which was the free birth control at the health department, um, then call this number for a class action lawsuit or whatever. But so what it is it's this condition where I get swelling on my brain, where it's called cerebral spinal fluid,
Mm.
and it settles on my brain. So if it settled on my leg, then my skin would just stretch and they would call that edema. But since it settles on the brain, the skull keeps your the skull keeps it from expanding. And so it just puts a lot of pressure on your brain and on the optical nerves on the backs of the eyes. And it was very rare. They really didn't know what it was. And the doctor started giving me, and I was pregnant, 4 months pregnant,
Wow.
when I found this out, and with my first son, because that's when it affects you during your childbearing years. And
Mm.
so the doctor was giving me Percocet while I was in the hospital for a week, and they was giving me. I just kept hearing them say more Dilaudid, Dilaudid, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm a Google person, like I want to know what things are, but my head was hurting me so bad, I couldn't eat, I could hardly sleep. All I could do was cry myself to sleep for a little while, wake back up to this horrible headache. My eyes were really swollen and they still swell sometimes. But so they found out what it was, and in order, the only thing that would help me was for them to do a spinal tap, to take a needle and go into my spine and draw off fluid from the cerebral spinal fluid from my spine. And
Mm.
they said anything that I ate with extra salt or sugar would make it flare up. But that's everything. Everything has salt and sugar in it. So they were giving me Dilaudid. I looked that up. That was super morphine. When I came home, they had me on a prescription while pregnant to every 4 hours take Percocet. Every 4 hours. And I just got tired of it. I asked them like, will this hurt the baby? They was like, no, it won't. Right now, we just need you to eat, because I had lost so much weight because I couldn't eat. I couldn't get out of the bed. My head was hurting me so bad. So they was like, it's more important that you eat.
Right.
Thank God my baby is just fine. He's smart as a whip, perfectly okay. Thank God for that. But I stopped taking the pain medication because I was like, I'm just tired of feeling this feeling. I'm tired of
Mm.
feeling hot. And I just put up with the pain. I changed my diet a little bit, less salt and stuff, bake, the works. And then marijuana. Like, I was hearing all this stuff about medical marijuana. It'll help with anxiety. It helps with depression. It helps with pain. They make it seem like it's gonna help with everything. And I
Mhm.
was like, well, that's got to be better than the side effects that come with pain medication. So
Right.
this is after I've had my baby and everything, but I'm still having these symptoms. So smoking weed every now and then would help me. It felt like it would take the pressure off. It kept my weight down, because the higher my weight gets, the worse the illness bothered me.
Mm.
So it kept the weight off. So it was fun. It was fun, and it kept my weight down, and it made me feel better. It made me not feel so depressed. And so
Mm.
that's what I did. But in reality, when I look back, it really did make my anxiety worse, because it made me paranoid.
Mm.
So, but it was helping me, and I didn't have to take the pain medication. So, and I developed allergy to the pain medication. And even when I go to the hospital for like the epidural, like when I got ready to have my next kid, I was allergic to it. It feels like all over me, just biting me.
Ooh.
So thank God, I feel like that was God's way of not letting that turn into my addiction, the pain medication,
Right.
turn into an addiction. But still to this day, I cannot take any type of pain medication without it making me feel like ants are biting me all over my body. But so that's how it started. Just for fun or to make the pain stop. But I quickly saw that it was causing me depression and mental health problems. So when I didn't feel like living anymore, um, I went and I got some help. I got on a plane for the first time. I went to Florida and I told them for the first time I got honest, I said, I need help. I said, I don't want to live anymore. And it used to be when the doctor asked me, do you have, do you use any recreational drugs? I would say no. Um, no. Maybe a nightcap, maybe a glass of wine at night. But I finally told the truth and I got the help that I needed. In my culture where I come from, most of the people that I know, especially being young in the 20s and stuff like that back then, um, it's like that's normal.
Mhm.
Like everybody does something, and smoking and drinking is the least of anything. But
Right.
what it really is, what I know now, is that drinking can be hands down the worst. It is poison, to our bodies to drink it in those large amounts, like I was.
Mhm.
For everybody else, that's just fine. That can drink, have one or two and just stop. Fine, but I didn't drink like that.
Mhm.
So it would be like poisonous to my body.
Okay.
So after coming into recovery and seeing that, because I never thought I would be able to stop. I actually at first didn't think it was a problem because everybody, did it. And
Mhm.
once they get older, they slow down. And I thought I would be the same way. I'll drink for a while, and when I get old, I slow down.
Mhm.
But um, I'm glad that it happened the way it did. I'm glad that I went and I got the help that I needed, and it became a passion of mine because the stigma attached to addiction is so horrible. Like you hear people say, oh, crackhead, addict, and people are afraid to go get help because of those stereotypes that are on them. And then you can't get a job. And especially in a small town where everybody knows you,
Mhm.
people don't want people in their business. But
Right.
what you had to realize is people are going to talk about you, whether you're depressed and in the house and you broke and you don't want to live anymore, or whether you are on a live telling all your business. So
Mhm.
when they say, well, what make you want to get on there and tell all your business? Because it's not my business to tell. It's not my story. It's history. It's his story. And
Right.
so I tell my story to give God his glory because I'm thankful to be where I'm at today. So today I'm the recovery ministry intern at North Atlanta Church of Christ because
Mhm.
spirituality is one of my biggest pathways. Art art is another one. The 12 steps is another one.
Mhm.
Um, and just having that community and being able to let other people know like you're not alone, you're
Right.
not the only one, there is a way out, there's a better way to live, and we have a whole community. um, I do Monday night meetings on Zoom. The
Mhm.
hashtag ROAL stands for recovery on all levels because
Mhm.
it's for more of the long term, like after you say, okay, well, I don't want to drink and smoke anymore, what else can I fix in my life? Because um, after you've been depressed and in the house and not doing anything with your life, that's going to affect your finances. That's going to affect your physical health. That's
Right.
going to affect your mental health. So after I say, okay, let me stop drinking and smoking and I work the steps and I've done this for a while, what else in my life can I fix? So
Mhm.
that's the all levels. So let's fix these relationships that we broke because of not showing up to anything because you were depressed and in the house. Or let's fix the finances. Let's start these businesses. Let's learn how to do that. Let's learn financial literacy. Let's
Right.
do the therapy. Let's go back and fix that trauma. Let's go get that little girl we left in childhood that was hurt so bad. Like, so that's where my passion comes from. So now I'm a certified peer specialist in the areas of addiction, mental health, and whole health wellness. And my mission, my purpose is to serve God by helping other families to do the same.
That's amazing. That's a deep story, and a lot of people I know that could possibly be hearing this right now could be suffering all different types of addictions. And a lot of people don't realize that addictions is just not just with drugs or alcohol. It can be anything. It can be shopping. It could be watching TV. It could be all different types of things when it comes to addiction. So with that, I just want to ask you, in your experience, what are some what is the biggest misconception people may have about recovery?
The biggest misconceptions, well, everybody thinks differently. I don't want to just say for everybody. For me personally, I think the biggest misconception about recovery is that people don't really recover. Because I can remember in my family seeing, um, people outside of our family that will, you see the wino at the store, and the person that's suffering on the street or whatever, and you see them, and they might go to jail for a while or something. They come back and they feel better, they look better, they gain their weight, they get a job, might even get a car, and then the next thing you know, they're back on that stuff. Man, they back on that stuff, man. They can't recover. They never get off of that stuff for real. They never stop drinking for real. They'll stop for a little while, and then the next thing you know, they back on. But I know people that have 30 years sober, 30 years clean, that have really done something with their life, and they're giving back to the community. And so it is real, and it can happen. And another misconception too is that, and I thought this myself, when I first came into recovery, I was very inspired to see the people that went to the front of the room and said, I used to use the really hard stuff, um, but I've been clean for 15 years. And I would be like, man, if they can stop smoking that stuff, I can stop. But that was a misconception on my part, because to go get that hard stuff, you got to make plans. It's against the law. You got to know where to go get it from, a safe place to get it from, and all of that. But with alcohol, it's everywhere. It's at the grocery store. People want to buy you a drink for you. People want to give it to you for free. Free drinks all night. All kinds of and it's everywhere. But with the harder stuff, it's not right there in your face all the time. So I used to feel like it was probably harder to stop the harder drugs. But I now think that it's probably about the same. It's all about the mindset, giving it up to a higher power, staying humble, working the steps, working a program, doing that inner work, and looking at myself to see what's wrong. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter about the small town that I came from. I take me everywhere I go. So whether it's the country or the city, if I'm not right with myself, if I don't love me enough, if I'm not humble enough to say I need help, and to continue going to meetings, continue doing the art, continue to recover on all levels, then I'm exactly where I was.
Right. Now, in your experience, what are some most rewarding aspects of working in peer specialists?
To see people when they come in at the beginning and they are malnutrition, underweight sometimes. Everybody don't look like what they've been through now. We have some, because addiction doesn't have a face, a type. It affects anybody. If it's in your blood, your DNA, it's in your genes, the addiction is a disease. And if it's in your genes, it doesn't care how long you went to school, how many degrees you got, how beautiful you are, it'll get you. If you use, it'll get you. So to see them come in, and some of them, they look broken and sad. I was broken. I was sad. And then to see them, or they might come in and they're really angry, they mad at the world, they blaming everybody else. Just like I was mad at the world. It's everybody else's fault that this is happening to me. I had this happen to me. and this happened to me, they did this to me. But to see them do the work on their stuff, and to see them about 6 months later when they're coming to the front of the room to pick up that 6 month chew, and I've been sober for 6 months. I've been drinking for this many years, 10 years, 20 years I've been drinking. But this is the first 6 months that I have went without having a drink at all. And they've gained their weight back. They're glowing. Their skin's glowing. They're doing that self-care. They got their hair done and their nails did and their lashes done. And they're happy with their life again. They've started their relationship with God. That is rewarding to see that recovery is real. So remind me that I can go back to exactly what I was when I first got here. It's picking up one drink, or I can continue to do it just like they're doing it. And that's the hope. So the hope is a beautiful thing.
Now, what advice would you give to someone who's wanting to become a certified peer specialist?
So it takes 2 years of sobriety, because you have to have lived experience. So I would say find a pathway that works for you. When I say a pathway, I mean whatever is going to be most sufficient to help you get to where you need to be sober and clean, whether that is finding a recovery church, going to meetings online or in person. There are 24-hour meetings that go 24 hours, 7 days a week. And you can join one of those online meetings and keep your screen off if you still don't, because some people are not ready to recover out loud. Some people will never be ready. I wasn't ready at first. I really just started living my recovery out loud like the last 2 years. At first, I was ashamed, but becoming a peer specialist is what helped me to live my recovery out loud. Living it out loud saves lives, because it's somebody out there that might not know that AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, exists, or Narcotics Anonymous exists, or a place like the R2ISE Theater where you can go and recover through the arts exists. And like you said, it's not just about alcohol and drugs. It's the food, food being addiction, shopping, gambling, the way we use our bodies, even working out, going to the gym, anything that you're doing in excess to the point where it makes your life become unmanageable is. And so definitely, like, my advice is to find a pathway, whether that's art or, church, the meetings, and stick to it. Stick to it for 2 years, believe in yourself, get a sponsor, somebody that can help walk you through the steps. Get a sponsor, take suggestions, be humble, because one of my things was I'm grown, like I can do this on my own. Like I don't need any help from people. I can go into the place myself and get some help. But the thing is, I know now that I am a child of God. I don't want to be grown anymore. They add that grown stuff, because grown is the past tense version of grow. And so when you're grown, you stop growing. When you're grown, you stop birthing. Grown trees don't bear fruit. When you're grown puppies, they don't birth puppies anymore. Grown dogs don't birth puppies anymore. That means I can't birth any more dreams. I can't birth any businesses. I can't birth anything because I'm grown. I know everything. You can't teach me nothing. So I'm not grown. I'm a child of God. I humble myself so I don't humiliate myself again.
Right. That's good. Now, you said you also was a guest artist with the R2ISE Theater. How has art and creative expression played a role in your personal recovering and healing process?
Art helps me to process my feelings, because addiction is a feelings disease. It's like I feel sad. I had a bad day. Oh, well, let's go out for drinks. I had a really good day. It's time to celebrate. Let's go out for drinks. Oh, it's like every time I feel something, I feel like I need to put something on top of it or blow some smoke on it to keep that feeling going for a long time, because my dopamine levels are naturally low if I'm in active addiction. That's the science behind it. But when I do art, that's a positive dopamine stimulating activity. So that's a way to still stimulate the dopamine, but without hurting my body and killing myself, poisoning myself. Working out, boosts dopamine. Sunlight boosts dopamine. When you're eating your favorite food, that's dopamine.
Mhm.
Like all those other things, like the gambling, a man,
Mhm.
all that it will stimulate the dopamine. So
Mhm.
art is that positive way that'll let me do that. It'll let me process my feelings. I like to say, if I don't want to talk about it, I can art about it until I can talk about it. But
Mhm.
eventually I gotta get it out, because if I keep it in, it's just gonna be trauma stored in my body until it builds up. It's like shaking a soda can, and then eventually it's gonna explode, or I'm gonna pick something up to pour on those feelings that I don't want to feel, that I just keep stuffing down.
Mhm. Now, how do you integrate your spirituality into your work, both as an entrepreneur and a recovering advocate?
Well, I take God everywhere I go. I unapologetically speak about Jesus, um, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I got baptized when I came into recovery at North Atlanta Church of Christ.
Mhm.
And I just kept coming back here. That we have these meetings on Wednesday nights. I just left it, called Off the Chain. My sponsor is the recovery minister at North Atlanta Church of Christ. Her name is Jasmine Turner. She is a phenomenal woman. She helped me to change my life by always leading me back to God.
Mhm.
Um, because addiction is a big thing. It's something that's embedded in your DNA. And so I have to go back to the creator that created me to fix me. And so no matter whether it's business, my business is Given Enterprises.
Mhm.
And that name came from when we were homeless as a family and didn't really know, like, we can't stay with this family forever.
Mhm.
So when how are we gonna move? Like, we
Mhm.
gotta do something. So I left, got my mind right, got my recovery started and everything. And then I went to this place called Mary Hall Freedom Village. They had a brand new program that had just started called Families for Change.
Mhm.
And they allowed me, my husband, and my 3 kids to live there for a year and go through counseling, go through like to basically recover, on all levels, um, to help us to get on our feet. That
Mhm.
was a blessing, because I haven't found any other program that will accept a whole family. But the
Right.
thing is, why I'm so passionate about families and helping families to recover is I gave my vows to my husband, to God and my husband, saying that I would be with him in sickness and health, to
Mhm.
death do us part. But one of the main suggestions that they give you in recovery is no relationships for the first like 2 years, and then get a flower. And if you can keep that plant alive for a year, then maybe you can try to get your children back. And if you can do that for a year, then try a relationship. But I had already devoted, gave that promise to God.
Mhm.
So there's no other places that I found that you can recover together, with your family being with you,
Mhm.
except for that program. So, and I haven't seen any other families come through together, as a husband and a wife and children.
Right.
So art helped me to cope by getting my feelings out. It was a way to, when I didn't want to talk about it, to put it on paper, and I take God with me. Bezalel was an artist in the Bible
Mhm.
that God poured his spirit into. Like, God put himself in him to create art, so it's just, to me, there's no aspect of my life that my spirituality does not fit into. And anybody that is not for it, like, I respect all faiths. you
Mhm.
know um, I consider myself a faith leader. i
Mhm.
can I respect all faiths, but I'm not gonna downplay my faith or not talk about God and my stuff just to make somebody else feel comfortable, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. But
Yeah,
I
that,
won't be respectful with it. Yeah.
right.
So
Now,
everything
about
is part of that.
right. Now, tell us about Given Enterprises LLC and the vision behind that business, and what services and products do you offer, and how does it align with your mission?
When I got ready to, when we graduated from the program, a year at Mary Hall, and it was time for us to go, I didn't know what was going to be next, what I was going to do next, but I had saved up my money.
Mhm.
I knew that I wanted to do something with art. And my sister-in-law is amazing. She has a business, and she does t-shirts and stuff. And I would help her a lot, when I would go like to her house and stuff, just doing it for fun because I've always loved art. And but I felt like I wasn't as creative if I wasn't drinking. Like I needed a drink to make me be creative, my most creative self. But I saved up my money. She showed me like the best things to buy. Shout out to Kenyatta. But she showed me all the stuff to buy, the heating press, showed me how to convert a regular printer into a sublimation printer. And she helped me out a lot. And so when I left there, I left with the goal that I'm going to start a business. And I didn't know what to do. I was scared leaving there because I'm like, okay, I've been in this recovery bubble, this sober community where nobody's drinking, nobody's smoking, you don't see it, you're not around it. And now I'm about to go back out into the real world and be around it again. God help me, what am I going to do? And I prayed and I listened to God, and the word that came to my mind was given. And so I went to my YouVersion Bible app and I typed in the word given, and the scripture, Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, asking it is given, seeking you shall find, knock and the door will open unto you, came up. So that's my signature scripture for my business. And I've named my business Given because to keep me humble and to keep me to always remember that everything that I have is given to me by God. Everything that I have to give to anyone else is really given from God. And when I work, no matter what that work is that I'm doing, I do it with all my heart as if I'm working for God and not another man or woman.
Right.
So that's that's where the name came from. The vision, the goal, the mission behind it is to it started out as me just making t-shirts with recovery slogans on them to help people to recover out loud, to be confident enough to wear a recovery shirt saying that I'm in recovery and walk around so people can see that, okay, I'm not alone. Well, that person's in recovery and they're living it out loud. Well, maybe I should too. Maybe I should see what community they're involved with, and network. So it started out as just t-shirts, but I knew I wanted it to be more than that. I've always said the t-shirts and the tumblers are just a stepping stone because what I really wanted is a nonprofit organization, but I had to teach myself how to do all of this because I didn't know anything about starting a business. I was on YouTube. I was asking people. I had people that would give me a gym here or a gym there, mentors. And I finally registered my LLC. And now I'm in the process of doing the research some more so I can turn it into a nonprofit organization because I went with the LLC for profit because I needed money trying to buy a new house, But the people that my heart goes out to help, don't get me wrong, some people come in recovery and they got plenty of money, doctors, lawyers, nurses, business owners. But some people come in and they've lost everything. And so they're starting over. And so they can't afford to buy, a $25 shirt right now. Right. And so I'm really losing more than I'm making if I have the heart I want to have to help the people that I want to help. But I want to do more than just give them a t-shirt. I want them to have a place to stay. I want a sober living home. I want to be able to help another family like Mary Hall helped my family. So to do that, I know now that I need to start a nonprofit organization. I didn't have enough knowledge to know that I could still, make a decent living with having a nonprofit. I thought nonprofit meant I would not make any profit and that I would just be giving.
Know.
Yeah, but now I know you can.
And when we get off, I'm gonna throw a little plug out there and shit you just said that. But if anybody is listening and trying to get a nonprofit, I do have a connection for that. And also is a lady by the name of Coach K who helps with grants. And there's a lot of grants out there that you can receive for your nonprofit. And I can connect you with her after we, get through with the live. But I'll definitely get you that information. So I just want to throw that out there because a lot of people don't realize that there are grants out there for different businesses, whether you're profit or nonprofit, and those are things that, again, you do not have to pay that back. So that is just something I want to put out there real quick since you said that, because yes, you can definitely be able to have that to be able to help more. And what you're doing, you'll definitely be able to get it because you're doing it to help the community. So yes. So
And see, I think that's one of the main things that keeps me on my journey is to be able to give back, to get out of myself. What's wrong with me? This isn't going right, or I want this to happen and that didn't happen.
right,
Go back and help the people that helped me to remember what it was like just coming in with nothing.
right. Now, what challenges are you facing with being a serial entrepreneur, having multiple things going on?
Oh boy, the biggest challenge I faced when I first started this LLC, I was still working almost like basically three jobs. I was a preschool teacher. I would clock out from the preschool and run straight over and be a youth coach with the children after school, drive the bus, pick them up, bring them with my kids to and then do the youth counseling, youth coach job, and then still make time to go to my aftercare or recovery meetings, and then help out with the church at night too. So all of this, and then get up and do the exact same thing the next day. How do you find time to? Because I wanted time freedom. I wanted to be my own boss. So I need this business so I can learn how to make my own money. So I can learn how to make my money work for me. So I don't have to keep working for my money. But I quickly learned that with the LLC, you become your own boss, but you also become your own janitor, your own secretary. You're the person out of the office doing the public speaking and picking up the inventory from the warehouse. You're the person in the office pressing the t-shirts, answering phone calls. So, and then still working all these jobs and still having 3 kids and a husband, and still got to do recovery stuff and take care of me, do my hair, like take care of brush my teeth, you know? So that was the biggest challenge. And then trying to figure out how to keep the business going. Like, what about the bookkeeping? How does this work? And the tax office, the Georgia tax center, how to pay that monthly, and how to keep up with the trends with the making the t-shirts. I don't have time to watch YouTube and work and run the business, you know. So that was the biggest challenge, but it's better now. I actually became a serial entrepreneur by mistake. I was doing t-shirts, and then people started paying me to do public speaking, and paying me to do art, spoken word, and I wrote a children's book, so I was paid to present the skit. It was about recovery. And so I'm bringing in all these different streams of revenue. And then I got a business mentor, SCORE business mentor. That's free. That's a good resource. And so they were telling me, okay, so to write down my streams of revenue. And I'm telling them, well, you know, I get paid for the art, and then I get paid for the t-shirts and tumblers, and then I get paid for the public speaking and the coaching that I do. And they're like, okay, well, these are all different. These are whole different businesses. And I didn't know that that's what an enterprise was anyway. That's just God. I picked that business name. I didn't even know that that's what that was. That's just God working. But so that was the biggest thing, the biggest, like, trying to figure out how to have time management, how to have time to do all this, and then wound up being, okay, now I'm a serial entrepreneur, and that was not my intention, but it works.
Right. And that's one thing that I know I struggle with too, with having different hats and trying to do this job and that job. But it's like you said, when it comes into a lot of people don't understand is entrepreneurship in the beginning, until you get to a certain point, you are everything. You are doing all the jobs. So technically you're still a job, you still have a job because you're doing every job that your business has until you get to the point where you can delegate some of that, some of the things that you're doing yourself to be able to pass it on to someone else. But in the beginning, you become everything. So
Yeah.
it does, because I'm like, that is one of my struggles. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing everything. And so I'm like, I got to take some things off, and connecting with people is really good too, teaching you different things. So that's why I'm like, I never try to stop learning, because I'm like, I have to always learn new things, because the new things that I learn is what helps me. One of the things I used to be like, oh my God, I can't take social media, because I wasn't really big on social media. And so I used to be like, oh, this posting is driving me insane. And then that's when I saw, I actually ran across a post, and I seen a girl named Nikki Saunders on there, who I'm actually supposed to be doing her live next week. And she was teaching different things on how to, get things done quicker. And so that's when I was like, okay. And I started implementing certain things, and it started helping me like get out of some of the things that I was stressing myself with. So if y'all out there, remember, see if you can find someone that can help you get some of the stuff through, because Lord knows that can be very stressful when you're trying to do it all on your own.
Yes.
Now, I know also we've been talking about the recovery, we talk about the rise, we talk about Given Enterprises, but I also know that you are a travel wealth advisor. And that, and so in that business, like give us a little bit of what I would say, what you can say about how is that helping you and how you're helping others within the travel community.
Okay, so the serial entrepreneur thing, I always said that the t-shirts were just a stepping stone, but I always said that no matter what business I'm in, being able to create my own merch was a given, so that's a plus, and saves me money. And with the travel business, that came about because a year after I was sober for a year, my mom passed away. And my mom was an amazing woman. She was a strong Black woman. She was very resilient. She went through a lot of things in her life, but she kept going. She did not give up. But when she passed away, right before she passed away, she told me she had her whole life. She was a homebody. She stayed home. She took care of kids, took care of the house, decorating stuff, cooking, cleaning. She was that nurturer. Nurturing spirit. And when she passed, she always said she didn't want to go anywhere because the world was so bad. She was anxious a lot. But so when she passed, she told me, she said her dying wish was to go to all the beautiful places that she never had a chance to go to, and that she'll never get a chance to go to. She had never seen the beach, never went to the beach, never seen the ocean, never seen the mountains. She always stayed at home, taking care of everybody else. So, me, entrepreneurial spirit, I'm like, okay, well, she wanted me to cremate her, spread her ashes in all these beautiful places. Well, if I'm going to travel, then let's make a business out of it. Let's create a legacy for mom, So I started the travel business. I started the travel business so that I could travel and, spread her ashes in these beautiful places. But after I started, I found out all these amazing benefits, of starting your own travel business, which were things like the legacy. Once you hit director status, and you and the people the families that you have helped to bring in these 8 streams of income and travel the world, once they start bringing on people, once you get to 100 people, you get to sit down with attorneys and draw up this paperwork, and the money, the residual income that you built up, you get to pass that down to your children. Even if they decide that they don't want to be in the travel business at all, they will still get a check for as long as they live. That's generational wealth. That's legacy. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is a great opportunity. And you know me, I want to serve. So how can I serve these families? This is an amazing opportunity for people in the recovery community that might have something on their record. When they were in their active addiction, they may have something on their record. So it's not allowing them to get the jobs that pay as much as they need to have a comfortable lifestyle. There are millionaires in this business. And so, and it's a turnkey business. It's a work from home or wherever you are on vacation type of business. You got a website. People can just log onto your website, book travel. That's pillow money. That's that
right.
passive income. And so, because let's be for real, money is not everything. It is not. but it's definitely needed to, to live, to buy food, to have the basics. And if you don't have those basics, then you're probably depressed. And if you're depressed, then you probably want to pour something on top of those feelings and lose your recovery, right? So if we can, be able to position ourselves to make some more streams of income coming in, because it's not a quit your job thing, but you can definitely get to the point where you earn enough money to quit your job or donate that job back to corporate America and work for yourself. And it's not strenuous work. It's relaxing. It's getting to travel, getting to see the world. Being in recovery, a lot of people miss out on a lot of their life, while they were out there doing what they were doing. And so coming into recovery is like, okay, well, I don't do this and I don't do that. What can I do? You can travel. So when given freedom, travel. So that's where that came into. But yep, just like with everything else, I brought God and recovery with me.
Right. Now, looking ahead, what are some of your future goals, both personally and professionally, and how do you see yourself working, evolving them?
Future goals. I would like to finish my degree. I'm almost done with my degree. My major was psychology. I also have a lot of computer certifications and, of course, education with special needs children. But so I want to finish up that psychology degree. I do believe that you don't have to have a degree to earn a living that you want, because I know with business, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. If you are business savvy, you have the go get it, and you have God in your life, you can make your business successful and not need a degree. We go to school to get a degree so that we can learn to work for someone else and make them great.
Exactly.
But having that degree for me will stand for being an example for my children, and because that's just something that I want for myself. Also, if I had a degree and I actually went to school and learned this stuff for business, then I wouldn't be online trying to learn, calling this person, that person, paying this mentor or coach to teach me how to do business, because the degree in business or psychology will teach me, what I need for my business. So that's one of my things. I want to get a degree. I want to finish up my degree. I want to travel the world. I want to help I want to fulfill my mother's last wishes to travel the world and spread her ashes in these beautiful places. I want to hit that directorship. I want to leave that legacy for my children. I want my children to see that recovery is real, because if it runs in our genes, if this happens to you, it's not the end of the world. You can recover. So I want them to see this long-term recovery. My number one thing is to just carry out God's will for my life. I can make plans all day long, but I have a track record for messing up some plans. But if I go with what God's will is for my life, I know I won't mess it up. So that's the ultimate goal, to just live out God's will for my life and to just live. I want freedom, those 3 freedoms. I want to be free. But stacking those treasures up in heaven is what's going to get me there.
Yeah, and you're going to get it. And like I said, you just stay focused on it, because honestly, that was the reason why I went back to school when I got my degree, was because I wanted to show my daughter that, yes, I did stop, but I finished. And I wanted her to see that I don't want you to ever quit on anything that you're doing. I want you to always push forward. And so because I started it, I was like, I don't like to start and stop. So I was going to finish whatever I had started. And so that's what I wanted to instill in her. That's why even when she used to get mad, when she would join stuff, and then she'd be like, I don't want to do it. You said you do it, so you're going to continue to do it. And so, but that's one of the things that I'm like big on with that. And then even like you said with school, I'm like, hey, when it comes to school, I don't press college to everybody, because I feel like school is not for everybody. However, I'm like, if you're trying to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant, you have to have a degree to do your job. But for anything else, there's certain schools that you can get certifications and be able to do it. That's just where I'm at when it comes to like school, because everybody's not meant to go to college. You know what I mean? Like you said, you can, a lot of times is the things that you can learn, whether it's to people that you know or nowadays or right on your fingertips at social media. And
Yeah.
things out there. Like I said, like I was telling y'all about the lady Coach K. Like I was saying with her, learning about grants, learning about business, learning about different things. Like that's things that's out there that you can really get from someone who's really, you know, giving that knowledge. Just like what you were saying, you're out here giving people the knowledge within your business, teaching them not just about recovery, teaching them travel, teaching them all type of things. So connecting with you is giving them a gift. You know what I mean? So those gifts that people, when people are really genuinely trying to help people, I just love to see that because it shows in you. You know what I mean? When you have somebody, because you have some people who are like, they help people and oh, I can help you do this and I can help you do that. But then there's always a dollar attached to every single thing that they do to try to help you. Whereas though, you know, you can do that and not always have to have a dollar attached to it, or even if there is, really genuinely help you. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, just go ahead and push. And I know I'm going to see you walking down that aisle and showing your directorship sooner. I know it's going to be soon. I know it. Now, before we go, I want you to just leave the listeners with a message. That, you know, of anything, whether inspirational, recovery, or transformation, anything that you want to leave for them to say, Christa Kendrick, this is me. And what message could you leave for them?
Oh, wow. Let's see. After all the things I've said on this live public, I got over 7,000 supporters now, and I'm live streaming on Facebook and here with you on all platforms. I know, and just keeping it crystal clear, I'm gonna go back tonight. I'm gonna be like, I can't believe I said all that. My message is say it. Just be transparent. Say it. Like, I have spent so much of my life being quiet, biting my tongue, trying to say the right thing, trying to do the right thing. And I'm not going to try to purposely do the wrong thing. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to this networking business, with the travel, don't be a secret agent. If you have a business, promote your business. No matter if you're a travel agent, be a travel agent, not a secret agent. Promote your business, because we can't worry about if people are going to talk about us, whether that's recovery, whether we chose to get help with recovery, or whether we decided to start network marketing and doing direct sales and selling things. No matter what it is you decide to do, if you have prayed about it, if you feel like that's God's will, if that's your purpose, do it. Please stop worrying about what other people think about you, what other people say about you, because they're going to do it anyway. They're going to say it anyway, regardless of whether you are broke and you texting people, asking people for money, which I've never done. That's not me. But whether it's texting people for money, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? They're going to talk about that. Or if you get on Facebook or in person or whatever, and you are pushing your business, you're selling your business, you're selling your travel, you're selling your t-shirts. Either way, people are going to talk about Jesus. So yes, they're going to talk about you. But if they're going to talk about you and you got to hear it in this out there anyway, you might as well be living your life. We only get one life to live. And if you're doing something and you're doing it with purpose, and it's something good, something to help somebody else, do you. Don't worry about what nobody else thinks. Because those 9 times out of 10, they ain't thinking about us anyway. And the ones that are, the quote is, how did the quote go? Small people, big people talk about ideas. Other people
talk about other people.
Yeah, bigger people talk about ideas. Big people talk about people and things. And the small people talk about other people. So let's talk about some ideas. Let's do some things. Let's make some things happen. Like, let's change the world one person at a time, starting with that person in the mirror. Let's not tear each other down or worry about, like, what their intentions might be or their energy off. I don't have no time to worry about try to figure out what's going on with nobody unless they coming to me asking me for help with that.
Right.
I'm worried about God and my business that funds me. That's it.
Exactly. And that is awesome. And I totally appreciate you so much for giving us so much wisdom and giving us your story and really letting us know who you are and what you're doing for the community. I think is so, so amazing. And I know I know in a minute, everybody going to be screaming your name all over because you are just doing so much for the community. So again, I appreciate you. And I know the people that are out there enjoy and appreciate you as well. If anyone is on here, I know if you didn't get a chance to listen to this whole live right now and you missed out on some, it is okay. You can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, UBELLC TV. UBELLC TV. You don't want to miss it. I will be putting this live on there so you can watch it from the beginning if you missed out on anything. And also just go ahead and subscribe because we give weekly tips on how you can level up and even get some inspiration and motivation along the way. And like I tell everyone every week, remember, whatever you want to do, it's possible. And I want everybody to keep saying that word, it's possible, because as long as you're being your authentic self and passionate about it, you definitely can do it. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming on and tuning in with us tonight. And I will see you again next week on Wednesday at 8 o'clock next week, like our normal time. And I will see you all again. And again, happy Winning Wednesday to everyone. Until next week, have a good night, everybody.
All right.